Okay guys, welcome back. Today we are going to continue our little series on the elbow air flare and some cool transitions you can do with this move. Today is about elbow air flare head spin, and we're going to learn to do this on one hand, because the normal way of doing elbow air flare to head spin, well, it's very self-explanatory if you got a good elbow air flare and a good head spin. So for the people that can do the elbow air flare to windmill, or maybe 2-3 elbow air flares, and got the head spin but can't do this combo, I'll gloss over it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So when you do elbow air flare combos, normally you don't land like this, you catch with this hand sort of the landing. And from this point where I land like this, I tuck my head into my chest like that and spin. That's the main goal. And if you have trouble with this, but you can do multiple elbow air flares, or you can do elbow air flare to windmill, it's because of this lock that you don't have on the arm. You need to lock this to keep your landing high. You also need to probably lock the shoulder. So maybe you lock, but your shoulder is not locked, then you will fly and fall. So you need to figure that out. If you throw very low, I don't really throw that way or very far out. But if you can do 2 elbow air flares, or can do elbow air flare windmill but can't do anything else, you need to add hop to your air flare. So basically the standard way, you need to hop. You cannot just throw over, because you will go lower and fall. So you need to add hop to your move. The way I throw, it's not really necessary, but that's just saying. So I'll demonstrate it once. Elbow air flare head spin, right? It's actually very simple in that way, if you got the elbow air flare down and can do the head spin. Do not do this combo if you're not comfortable with your head, because if you do moves towards your head, your neck might not be able to handle it. So I suggest getting the head spin to a decent amount you can tap with ease, right? Take a look, guys. Head spin, right? Okay, so, oh, by the way, head spin to elbow air flare, even easier. You just go on your elbow and chuck, right? So this I don't need to explain. So now, how can we do this whole concept on one hand? Well, there are 2 ways. The one is the normal way, and the problem with the normal way is basically you land on one hand like this, and place your head like this, the same way you actually do it. The whole process on one hand. The problem is that elbow spin, which will automatically occur even if you don't want it. So you throw elbow air flare, land, and start spinning like this, and it's very hard to balance. Now, it depends how good your elbow air flare is, I guess, and how good your transition towards your head is. But in general, that's pretty hard, especially if you have a lot of speed in your moves. But what we try now to do is actually practice one simple move a lot, and it gives so many options that I suggest you do it, even if you cannot really do transition with one hand. And it's this pose right here. Now, the trick to holding this pose, obviously practice, but basically just my legs are in the front, see that? If you pull your legs to the back, you will fall to the back. So you need to practice on holding that pose. If you just practice on that pose, that's it actually. Now what we're gonna do is throw an elbow air flare again. Ta-da-da. Land first with the elbow, but instead of locking this, what you normally do is you dip down in this position. It is important that you land first on the elbow though, and not first in this position, because then you basically fall straight to your head. But that's the concept. Now the good thing about this, especially if you practice that freeze, you basically throw in land and go towards this freeze, right? The good thing is you don't need the other hand. And it gives a lot of options. And what I love about this effect over like basically going straight up, because especially back in the day I had pretty good elbow air flares in a row. I sometimes did it also with one hand, and also from the head spin push with one hand, etc. But the good thing about this effect is you actually slow down, which gives you way more options to speed up by tucking in, etc, etc. But take a look, this hand will stay in the air as I land into that head spin, or basically that pose position. And then, depending what you want, you can let go and spin, or I like to do something like this, so this gives me like a speed up effect, or grab my nutsack, or something creative. And that's the whole idea, right? Yeah, these combos in itself pretty cool, but it's more about how can you create with it. Take a look, guys. I'll throw elbow air flare and leave this hand off the floor, but from the landing, pretty much dipping down into this pose that I practiced a lot and got under control. Right? See how I land, and after the landing, I felt, oh, it's in standstill. Just give a little chuck and spin, But many options are possible from this, and that's the cool part, right? For instance, when you land like this, you can spin like this. Though I duct tape this so it's actually not slipping. If you don't do this, obviously you can immediately spin like this. This was sort of my signature moves back in the day, but you know, just playing around with it. You obviously, this hand's in the air, so why not grab your leg in a weird way? Why not do a thread? Why not do this? Why not do that? Anything is possible. Very, very simple. So, yeah, and then, no, headspin, elbow airflare, I didn't talk about it. It was very, very, very self-explanatory. But for the people that have a lot of trouble with this combo, let me quickly gloss over why. So, me personally, I kind of throw with the arms more than the legs so much, right? So what I do is sort of lean over and then throw. But some people really need that whip with the legs, and then when they're in that head spin, they lack the whip. So the key sort of for some people, and they cannot do that transition clean, or they have trouble with this transition, is if you're in the head spin, this leg needs to lag a little bit behind so you can take the full whip with that leg basically. So in that case, let's say I'm spinning in the head spin like this, and I try to elbow airflare, I have some trouble because this leg is already in the front. So what you actually can do is, okay, I mean, but I leave my leg a little bit behind, so I can, you know, pump with full force there, right? So in my version, you don't really need that, but you know, like it depends how you throw. So guys, that's actually it. I really suggest, even though you can already do elbow airflare to head spin, try to get this. So cool, man. You can do so many things, really. And the creativeness in power move is something that, you know, like that's so cool to do, at least in my opinion. Of course, it's nice to create the footwork. It's awesome. It's nice to create freezes. That's even more awesome. But you know, if you can create your own little power move transitions, always cool. See you next time.